Have you ever noticed that it's not the long walk that worries you as much anymore, but the little moments in between? Getting up from a low chair, stepping off a curb, reaching into a cupboard, or catching yourself when you wobble for just a second. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone, and it doesn't mean you're getting old in some vague, hopeless way. It usually means your body is asking for a different kind of practice, short, specific movements that train strength, balance, and coordination together, the same way real life does. Many people in their late 50s, 60s, and 70s are faithful walkers, and that's a wonderful habit for the heart and the mood. But walking by itself doesn't always challenge the muscles that keep you steady, or the quick save your body needs when you trip on a rug edge, miss a step, or turn too fast in the kitchen. What tends to protect independence best is a small daily dose of what I call useful strength. Pushing, standing, lifting the legs, rising from a chair, and holding your body stable while your arms and legs move. Simple things, done slowly and with control. I want to share a 5-minute routine built around that idea, and the beauty of it is that it fits into a normal day. You can do it while the kettle boils, after you brush your teeth, or before you sit down to watch the evening news. No gym, no special gear, no complicated counting, just a handful of movements that teach your muscles and your nervous system to work together again. The first movement is a gentle pushing exercise against a wall, because pushing strength isn't only for working out, it's for getting yourself up, steadying yourself, and reacting quickly when you need to. Stand an arm's length from a wall, place your hands at about shoulder height, and keep your feet comfortably under you. Now, lean in slowly as if you're bringing your chest toward the wall, taking about 2 seconds, and then pause close to the wall for a few seconds. 3 is fine at first, before pressing yourself back to standing over another 2 seconds. That pause matters because it teaches your body where it is in space, which is a big part of balance as we age. It should feel like your chest, shoulders, arms, and even your tummy are quietly working. Start with just 3 slow repetitions. Over a couple of weeks, build to 8. If it's too easy, step your feet a little farther back. If it's too hard, step closer. The goal is not to strain, it's to move smoothly, as if you're reminding your body how to be steady and strong at the same time. The second movement is a seated leg lift, and I like this one because it trains the muscles you use every time you climb stairs, get in and out of a car, or simply walk with a confident stride. Sit tall in a sturdy chair with both feet on the floor. Without leaning back or rocking, straighten one leg out in front of you, only as far as is comfortable. Hold it for a moment, then lower it slowly, without letting your foot fully rest on the floor right away. You're aiming for control, not height. Keep your back supported by the chair and imagine there's a string gently lifting the top of your head so you don't slump. Do 8 to 12 lifts on one leg, then switch to the other. This one-side-at-a-time approach is helpful because most of us, without noticing, start favoring one leg over the years, perhaps after a sore knee, a stiff hip, or an old ankle sprain, and that can quietly affect balance. If you want to make it a little more challenging later, even a light ankle weight can do the job, but you can make real progress without any equipment simply by slowing down and holding the lift for a second or two. The third movement is the sit-to-stand practice, which might be the single most practical strength skill for day-to-day independence. Think about how often you stand up, from the sofa, the toilet, the dining chair, the car seat. When that movement becomes difficult, people naturally start sitting more, and then the legs get weaker and it becomes a loop. We're going to break that loop with a controlled version. Stand in front of a chair that feels stable and is a sensible height, one where your knees would be roughly level with your hips when you sit. Place your feet about hip-width apart with toes slightly turned out, the way you naturally stand. Now, instead of letting your knees slide forward, send your hips back as if you're reaching your bottom toward the chair behind you, and lower yourself slowly for about 3 seconds. Lightly touch the chair, just a touch, not a full collapse, then immediately press through your feet to stand up again over about 2 seconds. If you need your hands on the chair arms at first, that's fine. Use what you need and gradually use less. What I don't want is a plop down into the chair, because the control on the way down is where you teach the muscles to support the joints, including the knees. Begin with 5 repetitions. If that feels like enough, stop there. Over the next few weeks, work toward 10 or 12 with the same calm pace. People are often surprised that when they do it this way, hips back, slow down, steady up, the knees frequently feel better, not worse, because you're sharing the load with the hips and the strong muscles of the backside. The 4th movement is a heel raise with a balance pause, and it's more important than most people realize. The calves and ankles are a major part of steady walking, quick corrections, and good circulation in the lower legs. Stand behind a chair or at a kitchen counter and hold on lightly. Think of your fingertips as a safety line, not something you're hanging on to. Rise up onto the balls of your feet, lifting your heels as high as you comfortably can. At the top, pause for 3 seconds while looking straight ahead rather than down at your feet. Then lower your heels slowly over 3 seconds until they reach the floor again. That slow lowering builds real strength and control around the ankles. Start with 8 repetitions and build toward 15. Once you can do 15 while barely touching the chair, you can try a few on 1 foot at a time, but there's no rush. This move has a very real-life payoff. When you stumble, one of the first things your body tries to do is push down through the toes to regain balance. Strong calves and stable ankles make that response quicker and more effective. The 5th movement is a hands and knees balance exercise, sometimes called the bird dog, and despite the funny name, it's one of the most useful ways to train the core, the muscles around your middle that support the spine and keep you upright, without doing sit-ups or anything harsh. Use a carpet or a folded blanket and come onto hands and knees. Place your hands under your shoulders and your knees under your hips. Keep your back long and neutral, not sagging and not rounded. Now reach one arm forward while extending the opposite leg behind you, as if you're making a straight line from fingertips to heel. Hold for 5 seconds, breathing normally, and try to keep your hips level rather than twisting. Then return slowly and do the other side. Do 4 rounds per side. At first, the hold might feel wobbly, and that's exactly why it helps. You're teaching your brain and muscles to coordinate across the body, the same pattern you use when you walk. Right arm with left leg, left arm with right leg. After a week, increase the hold to 8 seconds. Later, you can add a tiny lift and lower pulse of the arm and leg, just an inch, while keeping your body steady, but only if you can stay controlled. If getting down to the floor is difficult, you can adapt this by leaning forward onto a sturdy kitchen counter and reaching one arm forward while extending the opposite leg back along the floor behind you. The principle is the same: stable middle, moving limbs, calm breathing. Now, if you put these 5 together, you have a full routine that fits into 5 minutes. A few slow wall pushes with a pause, seated leg lifts on each side, controlled sit-to-stands, heel raises with a balance hold, and a short set of bird dog holds. I'd rather you do a smaller amount with good control than rush through a bigger amount. Think of this as practice, not punishment. The goal is to feel a little steadier when you walk to the mailbox, a little more confident stepping out of the bath, a bit stronger lifting a grocery bag, and less hesitant getting up from the sofa. A very normal pattern I see is that after a couple of weeks, people notice their legs feel more awake in the morning, stairs feel less daunting, and their balance feels less like guesswork. You don't have to be perfect, and you don't have to do it every single day to benefit, but you do need to come back to it regularly, the way you would water a plant. Small amounts, often enough to matter. If you're the sort of person who likes a simple habit, tie it to something you already do. After morning tea, before lunch, right after you feed the dog, or while waiting for the toast. And if you miss a day, don't make it a story about failure. Just do the next 5 minutes the next day. The body responds beautifully to steady, reasonable effort, especially when the movements look like real life. Keep it calm, keep it controlled, and keep it consistent, and you'll be building the kind of strength and balance that supports the years ahead, not just the week ahead.